Hey, you guys, welcome to day 22 of our March Madness practice questions. I am loving how y'all are sticking with it, participating. I'm loving the progress and hearing your success stories. I don't know why I always tear that word up. But before I get into any of our material, I always like to do my introduction and disclaimer. So, for those of you who are familiar with me, hey y'all. For those of you who are new here, welcome, 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 you guys. I am so happy to have you. I am loving all of the energy. I am Dr. Brittany Weinstock. I am a family nurse practitioner and founder and CEO of the Nursing Studio. I provide resources and review courses and tools and videos to assist nurses as well as nurse practitioners with being successful on boards as well as in practice. I've been doing this since 2015, helping nurses and nurse practitioners internationally with being successful. We have a 99% pass rate on all of our review questions since 2015, and we have sustained that. And any of our one-on-ones, we have 100% pass rate. So we've been doing good, and I'm so proud of y'all. Hard work, dedication, and success. I always tell you, when we work together, it's me and you. It's us. We're getting to this together. Your success is my success. I am truly, genuinely in this with you. But I like to give a disclaimer before we get into our um, material. Excuse me for today. I don't know, pollen bad in y'all's area. Pollen is like snow here, and yeah, it's whipping us down here. But anyhow, disclaimer, there's no absolutes in medicines. We treat on a patient by patient basis. When I provide questions, I do it based on the current guidelines that we are being tested on and on the exams currently. So even if it's a bit different from what we know that is going on in practice, know that I'm doing this strictly for a purpose. I put it this way because I know this is what they are testing you on. I know what the blueprint is. I'm giving you the guidelines for your success, okay? And then if I'm teaching on certain things that we're doing in practice, I'll say that so there's no confusion. But let's get into it. Question number one. I'll give it a moment to come up and then we'll get straight into the questions for today. All right, you guys. A patient presents to the office with complaints of sinus pressure. After completing an assessment, the nurse practitioner diagnosed the patient with sinusitis. The patient has an allergy to penicillin. Based on this diagnosis, how should the nurse practitioner treat? Is it A, augmentin, B, cephalexin, C, doxycycline, or D, amoxicillin? Take a moment and tell me what you got in the comments. All right, all right, all right. Stem of the question states, I always tell y'all to read the stem of the question first, just so that it slows you down to ensure that you're answering what is truly being asked of you. STEM here states, based on this diagnosis, how should the nurse practitioner treat? So, okay, I always tell you, you need to study, you need to prep, you need to practice, and always gear your mind assessment, diagnosis, evaluation, treatment. Think about it. That's how we practice. That's how we document. That's how they test, and that's how they score. So I always teach like that. That's why my reviews are broken down into that system. That's why I teach in that method for a reason, right? So if the question says, "How do you treat?" you need to go back, take it back, see what the diagnosis is, and see how they present it for the assessment. You got to build it up to see where we're going with this. So we're looking for a treatment. This here has already given you the game. It's telling you the diagnosis is sinusitis. So you really don't have to look back at much more but the details, right? So we have sinusitis. So how do we treat sinusitis? That's our first thought, right? So then when you're thinking of that, you're like, oh, boom, I know it. Augmentin. But slow it down. Patient has a penicillin allergy, right? So we can't do augmentin because augmentin has a penicillin component, right? Right? It has amoxicillin in it. Amoxicillin plus clavulanic acid is what augmentin is. So we know we won't be giving that because they have a penicillin allergy. So then you can take D as well off because they have a penicillin allergy. You also could take B because what do we know? If they have a penicillin allergy, we are cautious with cephalosporins. They are in that beta lactam family, and penicillins and cephalosporins, they're cousins, is how I look at it. And so, hey, you don't mess with this cousin, you don't mess with that cousin, okay? The answer is C, doxycycline. Just for your knowledge base, sinusitis first line therapy is augmentin. If they have a penicillin allergy, you go to doxycycline. Um, and if it's not like they have an allergy or anything, but say you have exhausted these things and um, you utilize the doxy and they're still not having improvement, the third line therapy is a respiratory fluoroquinolone. Write that down. All right. Question number two. All right, a patient presents to the office today with complaints of a sore throat. On exam, the nurse practitioner noted anterior cervical lymphadenopathy and fever. A rapid strep test is positive. The patient has an allergy to penicillin. Based on these findings, how should the nurse practitioner treat? Is it A, amoxicillin, B, azithromycin, C, Bactrim, or D, augmentin? Take a moment and tell me what you got in the comments. All right. Stem of the question states, based on these findings, how should the nurse practitioner treat? Remember, when we are treating, if it says that in the question, take it back and let's see what the diagnosis is. What is the assessment findings? Do we have to figure out the differential diagnosis or have they provided it for us? Here they have provided it. Again, because you should be thinking strep throat, right? Tonsillitis, bacterial tonsillitis. It's a positive strep test. They have anterior cervical lymphadenopathy, key for strep throat. Um, Sore throat. They have the fever. So you thinking bacterial, need an antibiotic, right? So they have that penicillin allergy again. Not doing A or D because they're allergic to penicillin. First line therapy is the macrolides. So the answer is B, azithromycin. All right. All right. And then question number three for today. In late November, a patient presents to the office today for follow up. He has a history of COPD and diabetes. He currently takes metformin and Atrovent, PRN. FEV1 today is 56%. Based on these findings, how should the nurse practitioner treat? Is it A, albuterol and a flu vaccine, B, tiotropium, the flu vaccine and pulmonary rehab, C, ipratropium, or D, Zopanex, the flu vaccine and pulmonary rehab? Take a moment and tell me what you have. All right, you guys. So the stem of the question states, based on these findings, how should the nurse practitioner treat? I've been treating all day. Just try to give you a little spin today so that you can wrap your mind around not just knowing the standard treatment, but knowing in the event that this doesn't work, what's next? What's the second line therapy? What's the third line therapy? You got to study in that fashion and gear your mind that way. And so I'm big on, sometimes it may seem like we just did something on this, but yeah, I might have been asking you from an assessment standpoint or a diagnosis standpoint or treatment standpoint. So when I design these things, there's a method to my madness. So stick with me, trust me, trust me, trust me, right? So here again, we're talking about treatment. The patient has a history of COPD and diabetes, currently on metformin and Atrovent. FEV1 today is 56%. So you really need to make sure that you know those four gold standard stages in treatment for COPD. Make it a chart. That's how I do my charts for you guys, just so you can see it clear and have it together. But if you think about it, 56% is that stage two, that moderate stage, right? Because that's from 50 to 80%. So they're following BAM right there in that. So that's stage two. So they're on Atrovent, that's a SAMA, right? They're already on their SAMA, their short acting muscarinic agent, PRN. So if we're on stage two, you know you need to add in a LAMA, right? Because you're going to stay on the track that it's on. If the test lets you know that they're on a SABA, a short acting beta agonist, then you continue on with the LABAs, etc., for testing purposes. I know in practice we can do various combinations, but hey, we're talking about the test here. So Atrovent is a SAMA, so we need to add in a LAMA, right? Like your Spirivas, right? That's a LAMA, also known as tiotropium, right? And then if it's flu season, we're going to give the flu vaccine. it says that it's late November. Flu season is from October to March. So, yep, they need the flu vaccine. And then they also get pulmonary rehab in this stage. So your answer is B, tiotropium, aka Spiriva, flu vaccine because it's November, and pulmonary rehab. Okay. All right, you guys. So always pay attention to those details throughout the question too, because if they're telling you certain dates, period of times, seasons, it's for a reason. You know, they're painting the picture for you. Okay. So don't let these things don't miss the keys. All right. All right, you guys. As always, I hope you found this helpful, but please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share with whomever you may think may find this beneficial as well. If you need any assistance further, if you are looking for online courses, we offer an online self-paced course. We offer a 5-week group course that's actually one up and coming on April the 8th. If you're looking to join us, the class is filling up. Join us, join us, join us. I would love to have you guys. Um, Also, we do one-on-one sessions. One-on-one sessions are based on your need, your budget, how you want to design it. But there's various things. You can do it for 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes. To do, if you're like some people, they want to do just strictly like, hey, I have a weakness, I need your assistance with making this a strength, right? So I struggle with hypertension. I know that the ACC and AHA guidelines are etc., but I just can't narrow down these medications, blah 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 blah, right? So we spend that 30 minutes, that 60 minutes with me or whomever helping you to retain it, right? Getting it together, right? And then that's one option. Some people are like, hey, I test next week. I want to just do a run through to see where I am. And they're just talking it out. And if they're struggling with something, I'm assisting you to get back on track. And they spend the time just going through all of the systems to give themselves that last little cram session, so to speak, and see their readiness. But the most common one are the custom one-on-one packages where people typically do like 4 weeks. Some people they're testing in 2 weeks, so 2, 4, 6, etc. Um, Prep, where it's designed, especially if you have tested previously. We'll take a look at your previous scores, gauge, give you your pretest, see where you are, and then coordinate a custom plan to take you from your weaknesses to make them strengths and take you from unsuccessful to successful. But that's my spiel for today. I hope you are doing well. I hope you are pushing through. Again, as I always tell y'all, I know it's a lot, but it's only temporary. Keep going. You didn't come this far to only come this far. Stick with it. You got it. Happy studying. Meet me back here. If you need our services, reach out to the nursing studio at 803 400 6864 or shoot us an email at the nursing studio, the number one at gmail.com. You can also put in a contact request on our website at thenursingstudio.org org, and then we can do the consultation and see what you really need. All right. Bye, y'all.